Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Days Me. Once again, welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. Next up is a movie from the acclaimed creators of the 2018 acclaimed horror masterpiece, Truth or Dare.
I thought you thought that movie was a piece of
I do think that movie's a piece of What I just said was sarcasm.
Oh, okay then.
Sorry, ever since I bought him, he started being a little smart ass. But he's so cute that I just can't stay mad at him. Blumhouse's Fantasy Island is based off the television series that came out a long time ago. I didn't really know this was based off a TV series until I saw a couple of reviews. And a group of people win a contest and get to go on Fantasy Island, an island that literally makes your fantasies come true. There's a fantasy where a girl wants to get revenge on someone from high school who picked on her. There's one with two brothers, and one of them was adopted. And there's one where a woman turned down a proposal and just wants to get her proposal back. So on and so forth. Michael Pena's in the movie, and blah blah blah. That's all you need to know. So yeah, the concept to the movie sounds absolutely ridiculous, and it is absolutely ridiculous given the fact that this is based off a TV series. How could they make this movie work? Okay, there's tons of ways this movie could work, but apparently none of them work. This movie was awful. In fact, I could go as far to say I think I'd rather watch The Grudge and The Turning, both. This movie was way worse than those movies. Oh my god, this movie. It was. Oh my. What. I knew this movie was going to be bad, but oh my god, this movie was. Oh my god, it was so bad, let me tell you. First off, everybody in this movie is terrible. And yes, Michael Pena himself, he was awful in this movie. In fact, this is probably the worst movie he's ever been in. And honestly, for a horror movie, this isn't a horror movie at all. It feels more like a comedy, and I could go as far to say it feels more like an action movie. And I'm not kidding. There are times where it even felt like I was watching a war film. If I were to see a war film in the theaters, I would go see 1917 again for the third time. And yeah, I saw that movie twice in theaters, but that movie was so good, I wanted to see it again, and I did, and it was amazing the second time, just like it was the first time. Yeah, and I'm not exaggerating. This movie really wasn't scary. When it tries to be scary, it absolutely fails. And it doesn't. Sure, there are barely any jump scares, but all of them are really lame. I mean, they're not as loud as other cliche jump scares I heard in other horror films. But that's the thing. It doesn't feel like it's a horror movie. And the fantasies that happen just. They absolutely make no sense. And the movie tries to offer so many twists and turns that really come off as ridiculous and literally do not make sense, especially towards the end. Now, I know I don't like getting to spoilers, but are you really going to see this movie? Are you really going to waste money? I mean, if you are, go ahead, be my guest. But the main girl of this movie ends up being the bad guy at the end, and it's just poorly explained, and I did not get it in the slightest. Like, seriously. And Michael Pena supposedly is the villain, but it's just the story and the plot are so poorly done that the movie just comes off as ridiculous. It tries to be unpredictable, but it fails at being that too. I get what the fantasies are trying to do to make the characters more interesting, but the point is none of the characters were interesting in the slightest. I didn't really care who got killed off. I didn't really care who survived at the end. And this is a movie that just I don't even know what the TV show is like, but like I said, I did not know this was based off a TV show. And also another thing I should mention, this movie, it was boring. Like the first 20 minutes of the movie, we just see all these characters with their fantasies and stuff, just mentioning like what they want to do. It's pretentious. They are not interesting, like I said before. But was I really supposed to care for the characters? Because I really didn't. There are times in this movie where it feels like a drama as well. This movie feels more like a comedy. It feels more like a drama. It feels more like an action movie. The one thing that it is least of all is a horror film. and I forgot that this even was a horror film. There are subplots in this movie, like there's one with a man who sees this really middle-aged guy who thinks he's his father, and he explains that he is, and the way it's just planned out is absolutely stupid, and the movie's absolutely ridiculous. But it's not that good kind of ridiculous. It's that really pretentious, boring kind of ridiculous. And another thing, the movie is it's like 10-15 minutes too long. I mean, you might as well just make the movie 2 hours, and I could have checked out immediately, because the movie, it really was boring, and the comedy is absolute cringe in this. It didn't make me laugh in the slightest, and a lot of teen horror movies have comedy that really don't work. Great example, Truth or Dare, but that movie felt more like a comedy, and that movie was there was more laughable scenes in that movie than there was in this movie, because none of the scenes were even laughably stupid. Like, there's really cringy dialogue, there's jokes that just come out of nowhere, like this one scene in a panic room where they're all like, I feel like Jodie Foster in a Jodie Foster movie, and there's not only that, the panic room, it's filled with weapons and guns and stuff, and that's when I'm thinking, are you sure this is not another Far Cry movie? Because Uwe Boll did that, and that went out terribly. Except make this a PG-13 Far Cry movie. Why not just call it Far Cry Fantasy or something? Oh my god, this movie. Why? Just... Fantasy Island is an absolute mess of the film. It's boring. None of the characters were interesting. It wasn't funny when it tries to be. It isn't scary when it tries to be. The plots were absolutely stupid. The twists and turns weren't clever at all. Everybody's terrible. Michael Pena is terrible, and I like the guy. I think he's a really talented actor, but his talent wasn't here. And was he really trying in this? I think he was, but it's a movie that just comes out as ridiculous, and it's honestly one of Blumhouse's worst films. And I can't think of a single thing to recommend out of this entire movie. I just really can't. And all in all, I can't see this becoming a cult classic, like, at all. But that's kind of what I expected. I mean, I could see Happy Death Day as a cult classic, because that movie I actually had fun with, along with its sequel. But Blumhouse has made a lot of good movies. Sure, this is not one of them at all. And I can easily say this might possibly be their worst. I can't really think what their worst is. I thought Amityville Awakening was crap. I thought Truth or Dare was crap. If they made Bye Bye Man, I can't remember. They did. They probably did. That was crap too. But this is not the next Get Out. I can tell you that. Fantasy Island is the first movie of the year to get a half a star out of 5. I could have given that to Dolittle and Turning and The Grudge, because the more I think about those movies, the worse they get, so maybe now they do. I don't know, but those movies were awful too. So yeah, I might have seen a garbage movie tonight, but on the plus side, I did pick up Dreams for the PS3. I've heard so many great things about it. It looked really interesting, from the creators of Little Big Planet, which I love. I love Little Big Planet, and it's basically a game. Well, I have to play the game first, and it looks really fun, and I cannot wait to play it. And it was $40 too, so for a new game, and I think there's a lot to this game, so can't wait to play it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope the Invisible Man is good. I cannot wait for that movie. I really hope it's a good movie. Please be a good movie. Please don't be like The Grudge or The Turning or this movie. Please be good. Lee Whannell, I'm counting on you. Upgrade was amazing. Please let this film be amazing too. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Word out.